Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And for the past 32 weeks, we have been picking powerful words and we've been munching on each one of those words for an entire week, looking at it through different perspectives, mostly mine, through the experiences, right? It is through our experiences, it is through our conversation, it is what comes across our paths in those adventures that we're calling life and which are truly is life. I didn't phrase that properly, but it is truly life. Our 32nd word that we got this week was this word creation. And I don't think we're going to be able to get through this word properly unless, right? Part of that mission statement of mine, right? In that understanding that I am creating the best human being that I possibly can. And that is a truth. And that is an expectation that I have for myself. And whether or not I succeed in that on a daily basis, that's one thing. But because I do it in baby steps, eventually you get to see that little bit of success, right? You get to see the evidence for each one of us, that movement that we're able to make in our own lifetimes. I think humans are going through a phase right now. Other parts of us are too, but those other parts of us are just in reaction mode, right? To the cause and effect. And I believe that man is going through that stage of evolution. And even though it's not going to happen in one generation, it sure as hell going to give uh, us a pretty good crank in the direction. I can't say for sure, right? Who would have thought this digital age was going to be here right now, even 40 years ago, right? I would see that would be a good, I wouldn't have thought this at 20 years old. Would I have even imagined that the world would be in the state that it is, good and bad, right? I see you, Nancy. Right? I see you, dear. I hope you're having an amazing, amazing, amazing night. I spent the afternoon at the passport office working on the passport. Took me a few hours, but it is all done. I don't have it in hand. It's going to take a few weeks to get to me. But all that official stuff, it's all done now. It's in the waiting, right? Now it's the waiting game for that passport. So grateful. And I don't mean to trail off, but I think in that creation and giving it proper justice, because we don't have all the lessons. We have so few lessons in all honest truth. And it's in our conversations and interactions and those things that come across our path that we can do a little bit better by ourselves. Got my passport today, but I don't know if I would have been able to do that without having that proper identification, right? Those papers that in this world that we live now requires us in that officiality of being part of that census, being part of that collective, if you want to look at it like that. Um, I have to say, I'm so grateful that I didn't let my driver's license slack. You know, lots of people, when they find themselves in tough situations, we start by giving up those frivolous things, right? Like the pink ice donuts and the vacations and the right? Those little getaways and those little gifts that we give to ourselves and we buckle down in that, right? But for myself, I find that, well, I was going to trail down a topic there, but I think, right, it would take me too far off the main branch because we are, right, talking about that creation. And when we're talking about the best human being we possibly can, there are lots of aspects that we can look at. There are lots of detailings that we can, right, blow that up to make it look like a bigger part of the pie than it is when it's just, right, it's just a tasteful at the end of a fork, right? But we can make things absolutely huge. I don't pay attention to a lot of things, and it's not purposely not paying attention. It's just because it's not coming across my path. It's not in the conversation. It's not through the news or being, right, suggested to me through Google or YouTube. I make my own kind of movement. Each one of us is making different movement, and we're creating that movement through the experiences that we have had, that we're having in the moment, and those experiences that we would like to have. And each one of us, that's going to be so different. But just like I say sometimes that we're all in the same storm, just in different boats, we're all trying to create the best human being. But being a unique, being that human being, right? And those ingredients in that creation, right? You're going to need different lessons than what I need. But a lot of these lessons that I'm taking in, right? Oh my goodness. You know, the lessons in my, well, I'm going to say, at my job, you guys hear me talk all the time about me practicing my craft at my work, and that, in that kindness, in that giving back, in that idea of being a little drummer girl and not truly understanding if I have anything to give, but having those conversations and those experiences anyway, and then just be dazzled and amazed at the outcome and the feelings that are, right, these amazing feelings of that, oh my goodness, I did that, I was able to give that, and it didn't cost me anything, in that creation of the best human being that I possibly can, right? Practicing my craft is everything, because I have to learn my craft. But it's just like when, when you want to be a doctor, you want to be a nurse, you go to university, but you have to do the practicum also, right? You have to practice that craft. They're not just going to say, okay, here's your degree, now go rip open somebody's chest and play around with their heart for a little bit. No, right? You want to have that hands-on experience. I have no idea why I don't feel that need to reach out to, because I know I have that network out there. If I had a conversation, I do have those conversations, not as often as others do, but it's in our wants and our needs. And because I don't feel that want, right? And I adjust myself to get the job done in a different way, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure if I want to be an interviewer. right? Not sure. When I started moving into all of this, and I was really searching out what did I want to bring to the table with the experience that I have, with the lessons I have. What do I want to bring to the table? Thought I'd make a good life coach, right? Growing up in the dynamic family that I was in, it just made sense that I'd be able to help others out who might have had those same kind of experiences as I did. I know my purpose comes from my pain. And sometimes, it's a good starting point, but that pain runs deep. And in the lessons, it gets deeper and deeper. And I find that I still want to take care of the caregivers, right? It's the light and the darknesses, it's the empaths, it's the introverts, it's the highly sensitives. I want them desperately to be able to make a little bit of movement for themselves, right? To be a little bit of a creator in their own lives. Because I am the creator. I might not do a fantastic job. I make boo boos right and left. I accomplished so much today. Pat myself on the back. I checked a big one off my goal list for this year in getting my passport taken care of. I got my passport, right? I feel absolutely amazing about that. But I'm breaking ornaments. I scraped my knee on a piece of glass in my hall closet. I fell in my bathroom. We're just starting of all the little mishaps that happened today. I missed my bus. I got off in a different neighborhood and had to walk. I loved it. It was nice to walk because it was a beautiful neighborhood and I was immersed in the architecture of the neighborhood that I was in. Then I had to wait for so long. It was a very, very long process. Lots of lines and numbers and wait your turn and conversations and right to get it done. And then, right, all proud of myself that I did get it done and walk out the door, trip over the sidewalk, miss my light, lost my bank card when I got off the bus a few blocks before home when it was all cold and right? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, right? Like yesterday when I came in, you know, I dragged my butt yesterday. I just felt like a potato and I was beating myself up because I had plans and things I needed to get done today. The post office being one of them. I didn't get that done, but I'll have another shot at it tomorrow when I go to the bank and get a new bank card, right? Not a big deal. I don't cry over the small stuff. I don't worry about that kind of spilt milk. I worry about the big things. And again, maybe that's why a lot of things don't come across my path because, right, I'm not meant to work on those problems. I'm meant to work on something a little bit different. And in my creation, right? Because I am creating. I'm creating the best human being I possibly can. And part of that creation of the best human being I possibly can is to make sure that not only am I moving forward, but I'm enjoying moving forward, that I'm happy to be here, that I'm finding ways to contribute creatively. I'm finding ways to contribute creatively. That what I have to bring to the table is much needed, But then again, right, the lessons under the belt only want to make me to expand like a elastic band and absorb a little bit more, go a little bit further, hit a different target, at a different clientele, at a different understanding to my own being, in my own evolution, my own set of movement, right? Creating the best human being I possibly can. That's my creation. You're going to create something else, right? And even though you might not appreciate what I'm doing, you might not get what I'm doing. That might just be some silly woman with pink bangs from Winnipeg. You just watch her because she's entertaining. But wait for it, right? Because that evidence is going to show up on this doorstep 100%. I'm confident of that. And, right, people are going to make some movement once they see that evidence, right? I just have to be on track. I'm not making this about, right? I'm hanging with the entrepreneurs, but I'm hanging with the entrepreneurs because as empaths, right? We need that crew as much as they need us. Remember, we're the shiners, right? Everything expands, everything becomes, well, more easy when you have that shine on you, right? When you have that good cheer, when you have that lift, right? And I think it's what we're meant to do. I think we're supposed to hold each other up in this process. It takes all kinds to make the world. Going forward, it's a no-brainer, right? You can't go backwards, right? And we are this close to every single piece of culture going on, right? Every city, every country, every language, every religion, every political idea. We can be this close if we choose to be, right? I choose to interact with what comes across my path in those experiences, those conversations, right? Those lessons that are constantly coming across my path that I'm interacting with on a daily basis. And even if I don't understand 100% in that creation of the best human being I possibly can, understand no matter what comes across my path that I'm going to work with it. I will adapt. I will conquer, right? And whether it's good stuff or bad stuff, boring stuff, right? I got tools for it all, 100%, right? Nancy, too, 100%. Thank you, Nancy, for popping into my live tonight. For those of you who pop in later, I hope your week is off to a great start. I've got one more day off. I've accomplished more on this set of days off than I thought was possible, considering the potato that I was yesterday. But I feel much better today with those accomplishments and those necessities taken care of, right? And with a little bit of good news. That little bit of good news is that little bit of boost, right? That little bit of forward boost. And it will be in my choice, right? To say, oh, that's good enough. Let's just sit down and relax for your last day off. Or, right? You accomplish something else. I got no choice. I got to deal with the bank card tomorrow. And me and my sister have made plans, and I think I'll treat my sister to lunch tomorrow. She's been very kind to me over the past year. And, you know, in my lessons and where I'm at right now, it wouldn't have been possible without her consideration and her contribution with none of my sisters, right? I'm happy to be able to scratch off uh, a goal off my list for this year. I still have four more, and there'll always be those things that come across my path that I'll have to deal with the moment. Oh, I guess that was a goal I didn't think of, right? Oh my goodness, that's what I got to deal with. But when I got to deal with it, I'll deal with it 100% because I know that when I deal with it, I'll have a day like today where I feel good. I feel like I've accomplished something. I feel like I'm on track. I can feel that movement forward, right? In the creation of the best human being we possibly can. I think it's my responsibility to be that evidence, right? Because, well, the lessons call for it, the experiences call for it, right? And I trust where the lessons come from. I do. I do. Right? Uh, but I'm laughing because it's not easy. It truly is not easy. But if you're determined, right, to make this movement, you can do it in baby steps. You can just do it in little bits and pieces. And you just have to look back a little bit further to see the accomplishment and the movement, right? If you're doing baby steps, you're not going to see those baby steps you did yesterday, those accomplishments you did yesterday. If you're doing baby steps, you're probably doing little accomplishments every once in a while, right? But just to get the feet wet, get started, and then, right, like a snowball, it starts going down the hill and it just gets faster and faster and faster, right? And then it's like the abominable snowball taking out cities. Okay, you guys, I am going to make myself an. Oh, I got a full cup of coffee here. If anybody wants to pop in and hang out with us on Sunday night, I have another live show, Chatters Live. It's very casual during the week. What's my good cheer? I usually try to stay in the lessons. I try to keep the lessons light. I try to add enough so whether or not you're taking a baby step or you got big feet and your baby step's a little bit bigger, that everybody can get a little bit of something out of it, right? Um, in talking about this word creation, which is our 32nd word, 34 weeks we've been at this, our 32nd word creation. And I couldn't go through the entire week and not talk about one of my mission statements, right? In the creation of the best human being that I possibly can be. That's my responsibility. That's my responsibility in all aspects. And there's three aspects, right? That biological part. And I'm only laughing because of the pink ice donut, right? Then there's the psychological part. And we have been working on this, haven't we? Right? And then that social part. And if you come in and hang out with us in this conversation, when I come in lives, right? And just practice that skill because being highly sensitive, right? Being empathic, codependent, you might have some really antisocial tendencies, right? And we're talking, and I have to say, those antisocial tendencies just doesn't mean you're going to be an empath or a highly sensitive because there are lots of other personalities out there that could use these lessons too. In fact, I think everybody can use these lessons. I am so grateful for the lessons that have come across my path. And I hope one day to give it true justice in showing my appreciation, right? We got to get there first. Okay, you guys, that's my good chair. I got kicked off of Como Plaza grounds for having a baby doll, lol. So tomorrow I talk to the general manager. Then Saturday, I'm planning a protest. Oh my goodness. Have at her, Nancy. I think that's absolutely amazing. You need a goal. And that's fantastic. And I think somebody violated, right? Violated your rights, right? For carrying a doll. Are you kidding me? I smell lawsuit. Okay, Nancy. You have a great night. Everybody else, have a great rest of your week. And we'll see each other Sunday. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Oh, that Nancy.